Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Zazise 5, and in our continuing to give flowers to people who deserve those flowers, today we're giving them to the best male, Ti Gonzi Mlambo. As of this recording, he's the most decorated rapper in Zim Hip Hop, with accolades from Zim Hip Hop Awards up to the coveted NAMA Awards. A cultural icon who has taken hip hop to the ghetto and cultivated an aggressively loyal fan base not many hip hop artists in the country can boast. So with that, I thought I must run down some of my favorite featured Ti Gonzi verses from years past to celebrate his artistry. Let's count them down. And in no particular order, coming through at number 5 is Wedzera Effort from Attack Money's Chepa Jecha.
Big my hustler on the street every time 6 to 6. My duty at time, had it at time. My wanna tenga some moko, my lollipop, name my jiggies.
With a cool jazzy riff and a subtle snare consistent throughout the track, this is probably one of the coolest production on the album, and it's an inviting beat as well for Ti Gonzi because, well, he doesn't have to try and keep up with it. I mean, he often doesn't try to keep up with any beat at all, but it's also part of his charm. He adopts an nonchalant conversational flow similar to that of Tuck Money, but with his trademark wit and humor. It's a struggle-based song which exhorts hustling, which is typically Ti Gonzi's whole MO, and it shows. From quotables like Timureko UK, Muri boy ere ndakanza nemakuwa muruku geza machembere ebo. I mean, don't hate on the +44 gang, but you know, we all gotta eat. And not forgetting the wit in lines like Muri beri kwazo kunge orchestra rambai makadaru mchaita large kunge extra. You know, Sungura fans will definitely get this one. Moving on to number 4 is Ti Gonzi's verse on Moto, a track by R-Pills.
Sitarangu nonzo Ti Gonzi, therapist. Kuma rappers ndiri terrorist. Plus footy, I'm a terrorist. Kuma best ndiri method, ndiri pastor veku methodist.
Remember that one time when R-Pills called Zimbabweans music listeners dumb? Well, it's actually not once, but remember one of those times? Yeah, and people say, okay, let's hear your music. Do you know which track took off from his YouTube, which still sits to over 100,000 views till this day? It was Moto featuring Ti Gonzi, and it's not by mistake. In his more recent tracks, Ti Gonzi has leaned towards more of a pop sound, but in yesteryears, tracks like this were his bread and butter. Lines like, I'm a gangster, Sasham Sirenema good looks, Chito ita software, kunge fruit loops. That's like peak Ti Gonzi right there. And some other lines include Usasiya ndichiluza temper as Ti Gonzi aperesa mvura yemchemba. I mean, it's something that's well known. Would we know that mvura yemchemba eperi? Only that you can explain it with science, but it's great, and that's part of Ti Gonzi's charm. It really does shine on this particular track. And in the words of football commentator Kevin Kittings, that's ridiculous. And moving on to number 3 is Ti Gonzi's verse on Stunner's track Ahuruwek. This is probably the verse that I would say encapsulates the hip hop ghetto brand that Ti Gonzi has pioneered. It's hilarious because it brings joy on a song that glorifies mugging uptime boys. And this is where Ti Gonzi shines, because he gets the artistic license to spit the most outrageous lines and gets away with it. This dude says, Takakurira weshe na nasi tirive bora, iwo wawaya washita sebe cricket wawaya kuzobola. That's crazy. His chemistry with Stunner is also underrated, and he's showed it as well, especially on his latest EP, Sendiri 2. But they complement each other very well on this particular track, with lines like Tinana Patrick Wawe Nembuma Sejifish no tengeswa kunze kwebawa zvakaoma. I mean, this is peak Ti Gonzi, and he's truly a gift onto the hip hop scene, whether you like it or not. And coming through at number 2 is Ti Gonzi's verse on his collaboration with Aishan Kure.
I can't remember where I'm coming from. All I know, I'm coming home. So So I guess apana chekuchka pa birthday and the present chete ndona ne future. I'm tryna look nzira yacho iri blurry. Zvimwe ndichibaba isa bye bye ndine bhaibheri. Zvimwe zvandosangana nazvo imi zviri scary. Tenge titori pa tight funza Gary.
Ti Gonzi actually credits himself as the one who wrote all the lyrics on the song, from the melodies, the hooks, as well as his own verse. And it's probably the most famous Ti Gonzi verse in mainstream urban music. He resists the urge to be his overly witty self here and delivers some level of substance in pure, unadulterated Ti Gonzi fashion. This, I could say, is also the most easy to consume Ti Gonzi verse because it doesn't have his traditionally long build-ups. It's for everyone. And some of my favorite lines are "Pa birthday and didi present chete into the future." It's right there. I keep grinding shika badara, patience pays and I mean, if you don't even like the raps, the song on itself is amazing. And if you're gonna like the hook because Ti Gonzi wrote part of that hook, then you know you're still giving him credit either way. And I absolutely love it. And then our number one, but then again, it's in no particular order, is Ti Gonzi's verse on the remix of Tsiva, which had PMD, Mark Porter, Soko Matemai, and Rhyme Assassin.
Pikazi ndikatanga kurepa wazipatapata satra kunslippers marira wasata kutombonzi finas manera wasata kutombonzi dipazi tapetla pa matak shop mchimeza manikazi.
This is probably for me the only verse that Ti Gonzi has shown that he can hang in his own way against your lyrical heavy hitters. It's hilariously good. Emphasis on hilarious. It's easily the best verse on the track, and that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. I will die on that hill. He throws the rulebook out of the window on this one, and in a track with strong lyricists like Soko Matemai, PMD, Mark Porter, and Django Loco, and Rhyme Assassin as well, it's actually Ti Gonzi's verse, which is the most memorable. I know. He channels his inner Maskiri from Tate Guru, where he speeds through a whole sequence as the setup to get to the punchline. And it was also Maskiri with a similar scheme about modern day slang. And that's not even the peak of it. He says, Mavesa Antoniora no Parenzo Christ Embassy, that the phone ranchi big na Pastor Chris Nasi. It's right there and it's great. For whatever reservations that you might have over Ti Gonzi, you can't deny his cultural impact, consistency, and work ethic. And we want you to be on the right side of history to give him his overdue flowers. With that being said, let me know your favorite Ti Gonzi verses or songs, whichever ones that I left out. But remember, those were our pick and the ones that we particularly enjoy. Okay, maybe the ones that I enjoy. You know, my producer has a whole different take on this thing. But as always, man, if you enjoy us, do leave a like, do leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, get us to 1K, because, you know, we also want to eat. I've been Mukudzei Mlambo. This is Zazise 5. Shoo! Catch you on the next one.